right, my name is Bruce Lombardo, and this is Tablebreakers, episode 41, and we're continuing our discussion from last week where we discussed the lovely topic and something that all of you should probably implement into your own gaming tables just every once in a while because if you do deserve it. Evil campaigns and playing evil. This is something that's going to help you as a GM. This is something that's going to help you probably as an individual just outside the game. You have 6 individuals that are very well versed in being complete dicks and being problematic to their players. We are looking, this is week 2. This might be a 3-week discussion. All depends on how much we can wring out of it before Kai monopolizes it and takes over the chat, takes over the airwaves. I have to introduce my panel. I have Jade, Chimerian, Baron G Rock, Shadow and Sun, and Connell, the Cigar DM, who has just been refreshed. Thank you, Stream Elements, for getting your shit together. And how are you, gentlemen, tonight? We'll start with Jade.
I'm doing all right.
Fantastic. Did you had a good stream last night? You were helming gatekeepers, and what exactly? Just to recap, like an elevator pitch. What would you say to somebody if they needed some end of the world advice for their game? How would you pitch it, Jade?
Oh man, pick a natural disaster, telegraph it well, and prepare for the insanity that might ensue should they fail to catch on.
Beautiful. All right, Chimerian, how are you doing, buddy?
I am half awake. It's been one hell of a week, and yeah.
Good deal. Have you got any coffee grounds to suck on while we do the stream tonight? Or is that
No, but I have them. They're elsewhere. I can get them.
Okay. I do recommend that because we're going to be here for about 2 hours.
I'll be waiting for 2 hours. Don't worry.
Good deal. All right. Connell's chewing on something.
I'm good.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to rush you through you've just gotten a refreshment. I don't want you to, like, waste it, you know. I mean, not waste it, but not enjoy it.
But the answer to your question, I'm good. I've had an interesting week. I had fun last night with Jade and Gatekeepers talking about a very interesting topic. And I'm excited to be here tonight. And to answer your question that you asked, Jade, my answer is I would start a new religion. Because that would be the end times.
Well, all right, to it, but okay. Shadow and Sun, you have put up a staggering number of videos over 2 weeks. What is the one that you would talk to a gamer about that you think you could help contribute to their existence? What would be the one, like, you're like, you have a lot of good, helpful advice in your videos. Like, there's nothing more wholesome than turning on one of your videos and you see a father and son working together on something they love. Can't complain about that. That's like amazing. Hey, Liker fan, how are you tonight, sir?
Thanks, sir. Oh God. Since we kind of specialize in minis, for the most part when we're together, I would go and watch one of our videos. I think it's titled something about the Archon stretch goals, how to put them together properly, because we talk about when you're assembling a model, there's a whole bunch of tips that everybody forgets or puts in the wrong order. For example, if you're putting together a miniature from a sprue and you've clipped it, you've filed it, and you've sanded it and you've glued it together and you're getting ready to paint it, a lot of people, when they get sprues, they'll wash the sprues immediately to get rid of the mold release. However, what they forget is that after you've sanded those miniatures, you've just created a whole bunch of microparticles that will ruin the details of your miniatures if you don't wash them off. So after you could do it before you glue them together, which would be better. But say you've glued them together already, but wash them off in nice warm soapy water. Let them dry to get rid of all those tiny particles. I can't tell you how many times I've primered a miniature and then seen all of those little, filings stuck to the miniature in some god-awful location. and then you just go, oh, it's ruined. But like you said, we just did our 375th video. We cover everything from book and game reviews, movie reviews with the Cigar DM and otherwise, miniature painting and crafting, and a lot of our videos are crafting, where we'll take a pile of garbage and turn it into terrain or a new monster for your gaming table for pennies on the dollar. So the sky's the limit with us. We've probably got something for everybody, I hope. And as time goes on, we'll have a lot more new content coming up this year. We just had our 2nd year anniversary. I think it was Tuesday. So 2 years old, guys.
Aaron G-Rock, I know you've been busy
Yeah.
lately. How have you been, sir?
I've been doing all right. How you been, Bruce?
I can't complain. I mean, I've been working a lot, and I've been working a lot at getting better at my job, which, I couldn't sell a fucking car to save my life because I'm not, like, that way, I guess. I don't know what it is, maybe. It helps if your dealership helps you out. If your dealership is, like, wanting you to get a car pushed over the curb. And I've done car sales 2 times. The first time I actually had a better shot at doing it because they really liked me, but then they cleaned house because they were a minority owned and minority franchise. So they would have a guy come in, he'd run it for a year, and then he'd sell it to another lady, and she'd have it for a year, then sell it to another guy. And they claimed it was minority owned GMC dealership, but you were having a lot of turnover there. And I just kind of got swept out the first time. The last time I did it was in 19, lasted about 6 weeks, and I realized this is a place for jokers. I get into septic. I get in the world of septic and plumbing. And like today, I had something that was kind of a necessary item for people, but they didn't really need it today, but she paid for it today. So I had like a $2,800 check in my hands. For me just to pump her tanks, it would have been like $700 after tax. But I've gotten really good with my trade. And I'm pretty good at telling people, this is what the state of Texas wants on all these septic tanks. I'm sorry, I wasn't involved with that. I don't want anybody involved with how you poop. How you poop is your business on your property, hon. And I think that's kind of what helped her push her over the edge. She just wrote that check without issue. So I did that, and then I was late getting in here and getting ready. But life is good. You saw Gorma. We've got the multi-gunman, Liger fan, and some other people in various chats. Thank you for all showing up tonight. The multi-gunman is one of our northern fans, and Liger fan.
Howdy, bud.
Tonight we're going to discuss evil campaigns. And I want to throw that towards the panel because I have some ideas on running an evil campaign, but I want to do that more towards the 30-minute mark. I'll add my 2 cents on that. So if we could start with Jade. I know you had some things that came up over the last week. I want you to know that you've been doing really good as a YouTube host, and whenever you run panels, you do really well. But I know this last week you've had a lot of ideas hit your inbox, or a few things have hit your head on running evil campaigns because we jarred shit loose. I want to listen to what you have to say.
You're muted.
Okay. Well, wow. Wasn't expecting to be put on the spot so quickly. So yeah, evil games. When you decide to run an evil game, and it should not be often, it shouldn't be like every type of game you run. It should be the exception to the rule. And if you decide to run one, there needs to be clear lines in the sand that nobody crosses. Period. The things that are too depraved or too far down one line of thinking need to be quashed, and it's your responsibility as the game master to say no. Once someone gets too close to that line, you just say no. We're going to fade to black, and we're moving on. And that's for not the safe space mentality. That's for the mental safety of all at the table, because it only takes one person taking it too far outside of the game to really ruin not just your table, but the hobby in general. That we don't want to start the second satanic panic of D&D. So have clearly defined lines in the sand. Never cross them. Do not let your players cross them. You yourself should not cross them. Now, I'm not saying you can't get diabolical. You can't get down the different paths of evil. But at the same time, know where the boundaries are and don't go beyond them. And this is for your sanity and your player sanity, because you don't necessarily know what players you will have at the table who might take it too far. Additionally, you need to vet your players. Like, you need to know what kind of players you have at the table before you consider starting an evil game. If there's that one person who you think might take it too far, who might go too far down that dark path, maybe you shouldn't include them, or maybe you should draw that line in the sand to prevent them from going down that darker path. If they're seeking out professional help already, you really should not antagonize that.
I just want to cut in here real quick. I try to keep my game. I know I have people in my group, people in my friends group, people in my main group that they might not be considered normal by most individuals, but they're my type of crazy. But at the same time, like, I'm looking forward to not having an article written about my campaign that paints me in a bad light, that paints my players especially in a bad light, that paints the fans of the genre, okay? I really don't care. I just don't want the attention, at least not in that aspect.
Right. You can have fun in an evil game, but when someone starts taking it too far outside of the game table, away from the game table, and they start talking about things that happen in the game, things they're looking forward, like the diabolical things they're looking forward to doing in the game out in the open with people, and people start getting the look of, you're crazy, that's when it's gone too far. So avoid that at all costs for your own table and for your players. Keep everybody, in an agreed forum of discussion. Now, as far as evil games go, I've had more experience playing evil than running evil games. And there are things that from those games that I look back and I'm like, yeah, I probably went a little too far. I'll freely admit the GM did not stop the game when he should have. And there are scenes from that other evil game that I'm just like, man, I need to go take a shower after that. Like, I felt absolutely like a horrible person for even listening to what was happening. So I know games can get too dark and go too far down those paths. And I'm saying, from my experience, avoid it. It is the Black Death. It is the Dark Death. Do not go down that path if you can avoid it. Is there anything else you want to know about evil games, Bruce, and where to begin?
You kind of said it all there, buddy.
Sorry.
Show's over.
This is one of the few times where playing devil's advocate is just not tasty enough. I mean, I could.
What? No.
Yeah, kind of. No.
Oh, only because of the fact that most of the time when you go out with friends, there's usually the whole, you leave the one guy in the, the one person who's like, you don't know enough social boundaries to not look. We play a dark campaign. Could you not talk about it when we go out to the, out to the bars? That would be cool. And for most of us, we're having a nice little time, and we don't have to have that one guy goes, so when are we burning down? No, stop, shut up, shh. We're at the bar. We're drinking. Please don't talk about the fact that we were trying to exterminate an entire species because we hate that they're all thieves.
No girl is going to want to listen to your level 10 elf ranger. They're not going to be impressed.
No bartender wants to hear about your intricate plans on exterminating an entire species. That's not fit for public consumption. Nobody wants to hear about. You don't want to be talking anywhere within earshot of a police officer about how you want to burn down a certain part of town. These are all things that you just kind of look at the one player who has no idea what the grounding is and go, shut up. Just shut up. But I'm excited to talk about the game, and me as game master or as a player goes, you are no longer invited to group drinking night. Okay? Thanks. And he's like, why don't I get invited anymore? Because you just freak everybody out. Go, be quiet. Somewhere else.
Well, TW is correct. There is a difference between Skeletor and then Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yes.
When running an evil campaign.
There's a difference. There's a difference between Himmler and Skeletor. You don't talk about shit in public.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to talk heroic games in public because people are going to, be like, oh, well, that sounds interesting. What game are they playing? But if you talk evil games in public, people think you're just nuts. So, know your players, know the content that you're going to be, putting in front of them, and know where the lines are.
Oh.
I mean, I know we're talking about evil campaigns, and I'm saying that light, but you can, even if you're a player, it's like, I'm so sick and tired of being the good guy all the damn time. It's lost that special feeling.
Then you're playing the wrong game.
No, I disagree. Because there's more than just good in RPG. Anybody who says anything different eats pineapple pizza, and they're wrong.
No, there's neutral.
I eat pineapple pizzas, and you shut
wrong
your
too.
mouth. I know I'm wrong, but it's so right.
You can have a campaign that is good, and it says, well, I don't want to be good. Then what do you want to be? There is neutral. There is true neutral. There's chaotic neutral. There is, even if the DM will allow it, and those are few in between, you can play evil. Just as long as your goals meets the rest of the parties.
Look, I've had players argue that because one person was playing the neutral, the lawful neutral Judge Dredd mentality, that you're facilitating evil because laws are laws, but the laws are written by evil people. I don't care. I'm enforcing the laws. This is the laws of our culture, our civilization, and everything that I believe in. Meanwhile, here's me in the background going, careful, I'm going to rewrite the rules so Judge Dredd enforces my totalitarian engine, and have certain players go, but you're perpetuating the horrible evil system, and here's me going, I don't care. You're breaking the law. I'm breaking your shoulders. What? Oh shit! And that's playing neutral. Yeah, you're not really the hero. You're law enforcement. Congratulations. And which is kind of fun sometimes. Kind of not. It's power trip. But then again, you can also. But how often do we players are we rule lawyering dickery assholes who take the GM's word where they go, this is the rules of the land, and then you kind of twist it, turn it, bend it in on itself, and you're like, I can justify why I burned down the orphanage. What? If you can't say that was a lawful evil moment right there, or when you have players who look at a dickery system and go, how can I manipulate it so that way I can get a better income? You're starting to think on that lawful evil line here, guys. And when you start figuring out that, yeah, your hero might be a bit more than just simply a shining good good, thing that doesn't actually exist in the real world. I mean, yeah, I'm not a big fan of neutral evil or chaotic evil because I like my evil to be productive.
But evil can't be productive.
Evil,
truly, the evilest of evil.
But the thing here is that a lawful evil character would be looking at how to, yes, the laws and societies aren't fair, but I kind of like the idea that I go out and I can go do things without being mugged. I'm going to create a society that I can tolerate a lawful evil mentality far more than I can tolerate neutral evil, where it's today, I'm going to go blow something up, and chaotic evil is and I don't like either of those two. But I can run that, and people are like, but look, if you're playing evil, I like the evil where in the end of the campaign there had better be a megacorp sign over the fucking party headquarters, where it's like, I like the idea of the party going, the peasantry would be okay if we just plug them all into the computer system and turn them all into batteries. That's an okay mentality in my book. I've also had ones where sure, the entire government is run by the party. That's Kingmaker. If you're not doing it right, it's like, I've seen players go, I'm half-heartedly doing it. What? Why? Just, you got to embrace the fact that you're going into to do things, because the more your GM if your GM is smart, devious, and actually aware and making the world more than just a two-dimensional cutout, you start having to make black and white decisions. And, well, if you're making up black decisions, it starts getting more and more gray, more and more dark, and eventually it gets more interesting. I can throw it, like, when I'm running an evil campaign, I can run things much more dynamic than simply Dark God McEvilson sits up there and goes, I decide tomorrow everyone is going to be miserable. Blech. No, I want the world to feel like it's actually a place that makes sense. If you go out and go, I want people to figure shit out and realize there's a lot of things happening. It isn't just simply, if we go defeat the evil dark queen goddess of evil, the world will be all shiny, happy, and bunny rabbits. No, it fucking won't. You just stopped one thing. Congratulations. Yeah, I know. I'm a little bit of a World of Darkness fan at this point, where you're fighting entropy. The entire world's decaying, and you're fighting it. You want to be a hero, or you want to be part of the system that's just grinding everything down and getting your share as it grinds down. You're evil, yes. And I hope players are being evil, so that way I can go, look, there are good people out there. They can possibly convert you and make you not evil, or you can just go, dispatch the Shadowrun team to annihilate them. Okay, cool. And I get to have fun giving people here's all the power to be evil that you can ever want. Show me what you can do, or show me that you're actually cowards the moment I hand you the gun. Do you use it? Or are you a coward? And I think most people are cowards and don't know what they're doing when they get infinite dark power. And I go, you're not really evil. Congratulations. Now let's go on and play a real campaign. And yes, lawful evil is too protracted, but I like that protracted because I like the idea that I might be playing a game for 2 to 3 years, where my schemes might take half a decade to come to fruition. But when it does, oh my God, it'll be amazing.
I wanted to comment on something Max just put, where he says neutral evil is simply selfish. I actually look at neutral evil as the evilest of the evil, that they don't care about the laws or the chaos aspect of alignments. Their sole interest is doing what is the most evil thing at any and every given situation. So whatever promotes the most evil, that's which way they're going to go. It's not about obeying laws or causing chaos, but what is, by definition of evil, what is the most evil. And if we get a chance, I'd like to actually go over what actually evil would mean, because I think too many people misconstrue evil with just being selfish or doing whatever they want regardless of the consequences. Because like Jade said earlier, you need to have a line in the sand. I kind of totally disagree. There's some reasons I do agree, but there's some others that I don't agree with. If you're going to play evil, evil is way different than most people think, and those lines in the sand are what make it evil. The most despicable things you can think of are what I would expect from people who actually want to be evil, as opposed to just be neutral or selfish, a la the Palladium alignment system.
Now, with all this being said, I said this last week behind the scenes, and I was talking in the shadow. When doing an evil campaign, it can have different shades. It very much have a very different look. Maybe there's a kingdom out there that has the king has passed away. The oldest is about to get it, but the youngest thinks he should be king because he thinks his brother, oldest brother, is too much of a brute. His middle brother is too big of an idiot, and he is the only person that could rule the kingdom well. Well, going against your family for the throne is an evil act in most scenarios.
Right, but it's not the evilest of acts.
Well, it depends on how you look at it.
I look at it like rookie level evil. There are evils that you cannot be forgiven, at least by mortals, that you'll never be forgiven.
Right.
That one could be understood and rationalized, but true evil goes beyond that. Most people might even think that what you did was maybe even a good thing. You took the chance and you did what you thought was best for everybody because you knew better than everybody else, by knowing your brothers personally that they would just cause misery and suffering for the kingdom. So you took it upon yourself to eliminate the chance for that kind of suffering from your own family.
Just regicide is, never a good thing.
No. There's all kinds of things that are bad, but evil goes way beyond. A truly evil character would admit that he's doing it for the power, not because he knows his brothers are crappy rulers. An evil guy would go, no, I'm doing it because I want the power. I don't care. Maybe my brothers would be better. I want the power. Saying you're doing it because they'd be crappy at it denotes some sort of a conscience and a caring of others. A truly evil brother would go, no, screw you. I'm doing this because I'm going to do it my way, and my way is going to be all about me. Or my dark god.
Possibly, yes, but now comes the fun part of how you do it. Some of us prefer, the manipulative, careful planning route, where that's the wonderful law access that you just say, I don't give a shit. Then you have the really I don't give a shit categories.
How you murder somebody doesn't unless you're slowly doing it.
But now, so you want to say how to murder somebody. Now, this is where how you do it really matters. I want to be king, so I'm going to murder my brother. I'm engaging in fratricide and regicide here, so I'm going to try to figure out a way to, if I'm, these are all evil things, so I can just hire an assassin and murder them, whatever. I can challenge them to a duel and just murder them. I can have a brutal beatdown where it's like, out in the street somewhere, a bunch of muggers show up and murder you in your sleep. I get poisoned. Or you can always go with the route of I'm going to discredit, ruin, work on. I manipulate things so that way, my supposedly incompetent. And mind you, if I'm evil and selfish and self-centered, which obviously I'm playing evil, so obviously I am. My my incompetent brother might actually be competent. He might be a good guy. Or he could just be a drollish guy who goes, laws are all that matter.
Well, I was going by what Connell said was he knows he can do better because his brothers aren't good people. Well, that means he thinks he's good and better and wants to do better for the kingdom. A truly evil brother would kidnap his brother, put him in the pit of despair, and torture him every day for 1,000 days, or until he couldn't anymore because there was nothing left of him. That's the kind of evil I'm talking about.
See, I'm
Man in the Iron Mask.
See, yeah, it is that.
Yeah.
See, I'm more the kind of evil who not only ruins and bankrupts my brothers, destroys their family, destroys their allies and contacts, makes sure their children are miserable, and then casts them out in a horrible, broken state, so that way they're just mocked. They will never have any power base back in the kingdom. It's like that's all before I kill them quietly in a back alley, But after I finish humiliating them, breaking their families, breaking their spirits, making sure that they have no heirs that will come and haunt me down the road. I know I'm going to fail at this because, well, that's plot device. I'm going to always fail, but by God, I'm going to go down the if I was an evil overlord checklist and work my way down it to make sure I'm doing it. The GM has a less ways of doing it.
You're getting there.
I can figure out how to do a lot of things that are just not right. And I'm okay with that.
I mean, it's kind of depending on what game that you're playing with. Go for it, Baron.
So basically, I think what it is defining what all they are, and to actually, I think we need to conceptualize in other mediums of exactly what we're talking about. So lawful evil characters operate within a strict code of laws and traditions. They're evil, but they have defined a box that they're in. So like Darth Vader, Lex Luthor, Dolores Umbridge. Yeah, Dolores Umbridge from Harry Potter, and you look at your neutral evil. Neutral evil characters are selfish. Their actions are driven by their own wants rather than power, greed, attention, or something else. So you'd be looking at people like Jabba the Hutt, Cruella de Vil, even throwing Mario Brothers out there, Bowser. So, and then you have the chaotic evil. The chaotic evil only cares about themselves, completely disregards all law and order, and for the welfare and freedoms of others. The Joker, Voldemort. The Joker is the perfect because they will just do it out of either being out of fun, anger, or whatever. I mean, that if you want to look at what chaotic evil is in a nutshell. Joker. He has many layers, and yes, it's crazy. So yeah, I think once we get those kind of tropes and concepts all together, I think that actually helps. Will help everybody in the chat kind of conceptualize by putting in characters we've seen in movies or games or whatnot. I think that will definitely help.
All right.
Anybody here currently running an evil campaign?
I think I have the world record of 25 years of the same evil campaign. That's why, where I draw a lot of, mind you, also religion and other things like that, where I draw my opinions from. I've been doing it for over 25 years with the same party. Most of them have turned good or died since the beginning, way back when I first started the campaign. And mind you, it was my idea, so I feel the full responsibility, because there's some people and some religious philosophies that think if you think of doing something evil, it's the same. Kind of like porn, you may not be doing it, but you're still sinning by doing it. Therefore, by playing an evil character or facilitating an evil game as the dungeon master, not saying that it's the gospel or anything, but there are a lot of people that believe that if you think of doing evil, then you're pretty close to being or doing that.
Oh, that's an interesting statement there, Max.
That particular evil, then you're just as guilty. I know DM James was saying the other day that if you help someone commit a sin, then you're pretty much an accomplice. God, I can't talk today. It's my turn, I guess. So it's kind of why I am so strongly invested in this particular topic. This is the third video I've actually been in about evil campaigns. I definitely don't recommend it for just anybody, especially newer players and younger folks who haven't, put some thought into what they're about to do. I'm glad Jade took a lot of the things I said to heart last night after the show, because it really can mess you up mentally. You as a dungeon master, you as a player. There are people out there that aren't as, experienced, let's just say, as us at this hobby, and especially for the newer people. Really, really think about what you're getting yourself involved in, because you never know where it's going to lead. And trust me, if I am the dungeon master, there are not going to be the lines in the sand. You will either be very, very evil, but most likely you'll die before you get there, because there's no reason to hold back as a dungeon master against the players, because they've already decided to break every rule and taboo that usually goes into this sort of hobby. I understand that evil campaigns are becoming more and more of a popular thing, but I don't think that's necessarily a good thing for the hobby, because I went through the Satanic Panic and I saw the very things that they warned about, the sacrificing of animals and the other crazy things that the Christian groups were worried about. I saw those things from time to time, and it's one of the reasons that I can talk so strongly about this. It's a very, very dangerous, slippery slope that you could slip down.
I can agree with that if you haven't vetted your players yet. If you're just running a game at a store,
But how well can you vet your characters? You never know. I mean, we were talking earlier today about someone who lived near a serial killer. You never know who's living next door or in your game until you literally actually play an evil game. Then you'll find out real quick what your friends are capable of, or at least potentially capable of.
I won't run an evil game for any of my friends unless I have known them for at least a minimum of 5 years, because by then I'll start to know what kind of people they are. I'm not going to just run a brand new group of players through an evil game where they all get to be their darkest fantasies. I'm not going to do that. If it's among a group of friends that I've been with for 5+ years, I'll consider taking the restrictions off, taking off the chains, and go. Let's go wild. Let's see what diabolicalness you can do, and see how badly the gods want you dead. But I mean, most evil games do not end well. I should say most evil stories, literature or otherwise, do not end well for the evil person, the evil characters. And that has to be something that the players need to know up front. It's like, look, your ending is you're either going to end in a grave, you're going to end in a prison of some kind, in some kind of hellacious afterlife, or you're going to go through a redemption arc. It's going to be one of those. It doesn't matter which one you decide to go down, like what path you go down, but that is how your character will end. It'll go down one of those paths. Most evil entities don't get a happily ever after. It's just the reality.
Here's the thing. We've done, the evil campaign versus a good campaign. Everybody praises the heroes, and we're telling them not to be evil. It's like, don't do drugs or whatever the bullshit they were peddling through while we were kids. So you tell somebody you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do whatever. Then you get an option to say, fuck it, I'm an adult, or I'm playing a fictional game. Let's start with that, a fictional game where I can break some rules. Of course they're going to want to break some rules because you're offering them the forbidden fruit that their religion, their society, and their family told them they cannot do. But for an hour, maybe 4 hours out of the week, they can say, I can take off the goody-goody two-shoes routine and see what the other side of the track looks like. Because we've said, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that your entire life. Eventually, you're going to do it. Guess what I did when I first rented out my first place? I turned the AC all the way up and left the fucking door open because I always got yelled at as for a kid for doing that. So
I'm just going to say I'm not completely sold on the panel where, like, you don't run an evil campaign. No, I just vet my players first. I want to vet them.
I'm with you, Bruce, on this one. I vet my players. Yeah. Know your players before you know what game you're running.
Very X-card of you. If you're running a game store, I don't even go with evil campaigns there. I'll run an evil campaign online or at home, but I choose the group. I don't just let the door opening at a game store dictate who sits down at my table. That's not what I do. But
no, a lot of my experiences, like the Max was wondering about, come from when I was a GM for hire back in the 80s, and I was between 14 and 17 years old, and there were adults and kids of all ages coming and going, and I would often get invited to games outside of the game hall that I worked at, and I saw all kinds of crap. Mind you, again, I also live in California, which especially, since its inception, has been a place that a lot of the, crazies congregate to. The First Church of Satan right here in California, okay? You may think you can vet your players, but I'm telling you, you never know when someone is going to get that adrenaline rush from playing an evil character and snapping or sliding a little more and a little more and a little more. I know it's not your responsibility, but I don't want that on my, conscience that maybe I might have been the first guy to give them that drug high that they never received playing D&D before, because now they're playing something that just, hits that right spot for that one person. If one person, from one of my games went off and did that and I knew about that, I'd never play again. I wouldn't be able to live with myself. And I know that's a 1 in a million, if not rare circumstance, but I can tell you this. People that are into the occult, lots and lots and lots of them play D&D. Okay? There's no denying it. Trust me, I know. If you go into the Church of Satan on a Friday night and you go, anybody want to play D&D? Every one of them is going to raise their hand. Or they're going to be too busy doing some other really nastier shit than playing D&D.
I could walk into a church here in the Peoria area and run a D&D campaign whenever I want, and it's not a Church of Satan.
So, no, I mean literally walk into the Church of Satan.
Oh no, I'm just saying, I'm using the concept church.
Wait, it's a place of worship. Totally different.
Oh,
I agree, Mac, but I've run into these kinds of people. I just have, you guys have luckily and fortunately not had to have these experiences or encounters, but I have.
I've kicked a lot of people out of my table. I mean, call me a gatekeeper, but I've I've booted a lot of people that just listen. You're really good with Magic the Gathering, and I'm happy you can create a killer character, but you're really getting upset that the players don't want to burn down this orphanage, and that really isn't going to further your organization so much. I'm going to have to say we have to let you go, and your character is similarly executed. So don't worry, the game will continue without you, and that's happened. I know that sounds like a complete dick move, but
I've had entire campaigns. I've had entire campaigns burned to the ground basically because one player wanted to be an absolute raging dick blister. I mean, that's the nicest way I can say it too. I mean, they wanted it to be their way, and they wanted.
I can't even imagine having a dick blister, let alone a raging dick blister.
I was in the Navy.
Does that make a noise or something? Does that actually make a noise?
Hey, guys. Kai, you want to say something?
No, obviously, no. Yes, I do fucking want to say something.
Let me get on mute.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty. So, from what it sounds like, everyone plays with a bunch of uneducated motherfuckers who just are fucking knuckle dragging, just drooling motherfuckers who can't figure out. Have you tried playing with somebody who's actually fucking intelligent? Have you tried playing an evil campaign with a bunch of political science, with economists, with psychologists, with people who have fucking degrees, who are fucking actually intelligent, whose idea of evil is not, I watched a fucking slasher flick, ooh, and I'm going to jerk off to stabbing somebody and doing something evil. Wow, you guys are playing, oh no, it's so bargain-based and evil. I'm sorry, yes, if we're playing by the rules of if you do a dark and evil thing, you're playing an evil campaign, then yes, I've got 20 plus fucking years of doing evil. But because my evil is fucking a mirror of the fact that our own world is a morass of pure shit, where we have warlords who just go, fuck that town, kill at least 90% of them, at least 1 out of 10 gets to live, so that way they can spread my terror onto the next location, which is the Mongol horde mentality, or hell, I need to establish discipline in a unit that has decided to rebel against me. And I've captured them. I'm going to force a decimation upon them. 1 out of 10, I break them all up into tens, and I force them, each of you, to have the freedom to pick who gets to die of your group. And if you can't pick, you all get to die. I've had players who've sat back and gone, I want this region to be economically terror. I'm going to implement a siege for the next 3 years so everybody inside gets to die horribly from disease, lack of food, and lack of water. Is this an evil campaign? This is what shit people did in the real world. I can go through Romance of the Three Kingdoms and find places where tens of thousands of people die because someone ordered the death. I can go I have run games where people have, because someone said a bad word about you, and I've manipulated them so that way you're dishonored, so you kill yourself. You're actually a good person, but you were in my way, so I ruined your reputation, and now you have to die by your own hand. Cut your own belly, fall on your sword. I don't care. I've had people, like, when people start to debate philosophy and how a government functions and how they're evil. Oh, you're going to have a horrible bad end, a bad afterlife. Oh, good. At the end of 90 years and I die of old age and all my enemies are dead around me. Okay. Oh, but wait, we're playing fantasy. So as long as I can keep drinking this potion made from 1,000 dead virgins, I get to live an extra year. Fucking send my warlords out to go out and find me 1,000 virgins so I can murder them for their blood, so I can make my immortality potion this year. This is what PCs do when they go, wait, my idea of evil is literally, oh, I'm going to go do some bad shit. Fuck Look at the real world and go, this is the goal. If you're playing evil, this is the fucking goal. And I show the fact the world is horrible and you should be heroes. But guess what? When given freedom, and players say they want freedom, give them the freedom, and they will go evil. Or they'll try being good. They'll try it for a while. And then eventually they realize that good's hard. Good takes effort. Good is something I gotta work at. But man, good doesn't pay the bills. Good doesn't. At the end of the day, I'm not doing too well. Meanwhile, the evil player shows up and shows up the Mercedes-Benz, honks the horn at you, and go, "Sup, peasant? Do you want some spare change?" Well, yeah, so I can open a new orphanage. Here's $20. Beep beep, bye, motherfucking Green Arrow. And then they drive off and leave you in the fucking dust. And so, yeah, when you start playing with people whose ideas of evil is they've gotten a master's degree in how to study evil and thus use their education to be evil, and then every once in a while when some new player shows up and goes, "Ooh, I want to be evil, I'm going to go slasher flick," and then watch the 3 veteran players at the table go, "Amateur, you'll learn. We'll teach you." And or that one. Every once in a while, it's fun watching the evil play. The people who play evil so well try to be good, play heroes, and they're so heroic until you start realizing that they're slipping them. They realize that, man, I need to make some trade deals. I need to make deals with governments. I need to start doing shit because if I play a good character, I'm going to piss everyone off, and the apparatus of evil surrounds you and looks at you and goes, "Weakness," and then falls upon you and crushes. It's a beautiful thing.
I was thinking when you said we're talking real world examples. I was thinking of Loeb and Leopold, who thought they can get away with the perfect murder.
No, I'm talking about the fact that the federal government. I'm talking about Wall Street. I'm talking about the central banking system, the FBI, the CIA. Everything is out there. This is my evil. This is the evil I run.
And I'm going to try to help you, but in the end, all of these
Get to the pod.
You'll own nothing, and we will help you. But you need to learn what spice you like best on your cricket salad, because the cricket salad is something that you will be eating a lot of. And also, your bed is too big. We need you to get in the pod.
That's right.
Eat the bugs. This is the level of evil that I prefer. I want to see everybody embrace this evil and live with it as their own.
I don't need some Satan allegory. I don't need some dark evil god. I literally look at people and go, "You're all fucking horrible." I want good people, but you're all fucking evil. I am okay. I'm not okay with this.
But Kai,
those
people, the people I described, do actually exist. They are out there.
I know they exist, but the thing is, I don't play with those people. I don't. Who have fucking degrees, who graduated high school or at least gone a.
Not all of the people in the world can be as fortunate as you when they start to play D&D. There are people out there that do these evil, despicable things, and they also do the things you're talking about at the same time. They're called hobbies for them, or their religion. There are people who believe that way and are also at the top. Okay? Yeah. You're acting like the one's more evil than the other when they're usually the same people.
But the thing here is that as I'm running, I don't need to have some evil cultists running out there. Yes, I can have all that shit, but it's like I'm not afraid of the player who walked in to play in my game. I'm going, look, we're gonna deal with some pretty dark shit. I don't need to say him that. If I go, look, you run the news, yeah, okay, we're playing that. Like it's miserable, but it's the Dark Ages. It's miserable. We're playing futuristic. It's miserable.
So you don't have clerics? Because I guarantee you that if they're were real fantasy worlds with magic and evil gods, you could pretty much count on those evil gods requiring some pretty despicable shit.
Oh God, yes,
Just-
I understand this. But the thing
um,
is that most of us play with this fucking bullshit Christian. There's only good, evil, one good, one evil, bad shit. No, there's usually like a plethora of evil, and they all have agendas, and there's a plethora of useless good, and they're all equally worthless. And you have some neutral gods who, what the fuck are you doing here? And you're not doing anything useful. And don't worry, most of our bullshit fantasy games have multiple pantheons. So you have evil gods of over here, and evil gods of over here, and some other evil gods of over there, and some good gods over here that do some other shit. And then you have some good gods who are over there too, and some people from over there who are also good. And everyone's got their own 400 flavors of good, 400 flavors of evil. And if you pissed off the god of jaywalking, whoop-de-fucking-do. Oh no, which goddess of murder have I offended today? There's like four.
Crosswalks are here for your protection, and if you do not use the crosswalks, then you will have to pay your 75 gold. And if you do not have 75 gold, it is fine. I will put your sister into the state-run prostitution ring, and we'll make sure that she gets a good job somewhere overseas.
And the thing is that we like to play as some kind of horrible. If you offend the evil god, they will come and kill you. Well, they're already offended. They're fucking trying to kill the world anyways. Well, there's some subtle ones you might have offended. Okay, but hey, look at a polytheistic culture. Well, periodically I go to the temple and throw $5 at the god of evil at the gods of evil and say, "Please don't fuck with me today."
And what happened to Baron?
And then I go out and go to the good temples and please don't fuck with me today. And the and the neutral temples and please don't fuck with me today. Why? I'm doing something useful. Please be fucking not me. Don't fuck with me. Yes, I can run clerics. Yes. But the thing is that I don't have to leave up a clutch of all evil is only because the dark lord of evil has decided to say that I'm going to be evil today. I'm the cleric of evil. Fuck off.
Well, I hear static.
Yeah, it's almost like a radio.
I think it's Garrett.
I don't know. But here's on a flip. In my private game, on the game I get paid for, I had to kick out a lawful good paladin out of my game because he was screaming and yelling at all the other players because they were playing it because what they were doing was evil when they were not. And from the judgment of the game, they weren't being evil. So it works both sides.
Yeah, but it's.
How dare you drink? How dare you kill that goblin without saying please and thank you first? ...
I think you're. They literally said those exact words.
Drinking is a sin. If I catch anybody in my party drinking, I will ruin your life.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd have had to been there. I can't believe anybody would ever say that in a game. I just can't. I mean, maybe it's true. I'm not calling you a liar or anything, but that's like almost comical. I mean, you know what I mean? It really is. I love paladins. You guys know that.
For example, another example. Another guy's like, "Hey, we're in a new town. What's around?" I'm like, "Well, there is a tavern. There is an inn. There is this. There's this." And joking around, there's a strippers guild over there. The paladin turns on the party. He's like, "If I catch any of you guys going to a stripper guild, there will be hell to pay."
Then the paladin goes to his temple and has a paid-for temple prostitute relieve him.
So,
better to keep it within the church.
Yep.
We will never be without the strippers, James L. I gotta say that I would prefer a game like the varying levels of evil. If I was going to run an evil campaign, I wouldn't run fantasy. I wouldn't. I would run more modern. I would try to do my best for. Let's shoot for. Let's shoot for the casino or Goodfellas level of evil.
Oh, level Ocean 11.
Yeah, I don't really consider those guys technically evil. I mean, evil to yes. If you look at things from a black and white perspective, that you're only good or evil. But I know that's gonna set Kai off again. But I from what I remember from the first movie, they were kind of doing it as an act of revenge, sort of like a Robin Hood thing, getting back what they thought was kind of theirs to begin with. But I could be thinking of the original, not the one you guys probably saw.
Only Ocean himself was out for revenge. Everybody else was in it for cash. They were all in it for greedy things. Remember,
I'm talking about the black and white.
I'm sorry. I know the modern remake, which was simply okay. So everybody else was in it for cash.
Yeah.
And so if you can't say I'm robbing a bank because, well, and even the guy who was funding it, he took away my casino. Yeah, fuck that guy. And so yeah, there was no altruistic intentions. The only one who had a possible altruistic intention was, hey, you stole my wife who left me because I was a dickbag. Okay. Yeah. You're all con artists. You're all fucking doing this for cash. No.
But they could technically be just considered one of the neutral alignments, like chaotic neutral.
Man,
As opposed to like chaotic evil or lawful evil. They're doing it for the money, which means for themselves, not to hurt other people, except maybe one guy.
But if we're saying that, doing it for greed, doing it for yourself is evil, you can kind of go with this route. And with some GMs being total pricks on if you ain't good, you're evil. Yeah, you could pretty much fucking say everybody who's in Ocean's 11's a fucking criminal. And
I was trying not to go that route.
But I've seen enough lack of flexibility to them GMs who are kind of going, oh no, you're trying to rob shit. But and you demolition guy, you were fucking you were caught blowing up a safe to a bank. Hey, gambler guy, you were caught you were stealing, you were conning a bunch of celebs who are idiots for cash. Like everybody else has got shit. Like, you want some money? Fuck yeah. Okay. Congrats. Welcome to the party. And
I mean, everybody who breaks the law is evil. If go completely black and white. Sorry, Kai, but I'm just going to go over this really quick. Some of our favorite TV shows growing up would be considered evil campaigns once a week.
Oh God, yes.
The A-Team. Any superhero show, Batman. Batman is a vigilante. He works outside the law.
I don't know about the A-Team.
See, the A-Team, though, they went in with good intentions. Ocean's 11 is not. Ocean's 11 is purely greedy.
It doesn't matter. Good intentions are normally the cobblestones to hell.
But good intentions are usually what we use to justify a good campaign. I'm playing Robin Hood. I'm robbing from the rich to give to the poor. Well, actually, I'm robbing from the government to give back to the taxpayers. And the A-Team was, well, we were convicted of a crime we didn't commit, and we're helping good people in need for a small amount of money so we can keep on going. They're fighting evil to be good while being chased by idiots. And a lot of Jeeps being destroyed. God damn, a lot of Jeeps being destroyed. And
It's black and white. We're walking all over the gray with this one there, Kai.
I know, but the thing here is that it's like if you're going into gray territory, boy, A-Team is in the light gray, and Ocean's 11's in the dark gray.
Right. I mean, anybody who breaks the law that we consider to be superheroes are criminals. Batman, Superman. Well, Superman is weird on that subject, but there's a bunch of them. But we say that there are superheroes. We buy the toys for our kids, sheets and shirts, lunch boxes, and other things.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man, criminal. Batman, criminal. Green Arrow, one of my favorites, criminal. A-Team, criminal. You know, and let's just keep going longer and longer.
And that was the entire plot line behind Civil War in the first place, was because somebody decided to go, wait, we're above the law. And then somebody said we should probably restrict them. And that was an entire shitty plot line by Marvel. And then periodically you get extra government organizations like the fucking Justice League. Who do they answer to? Oh, wait, that was a question asked by I'm in the Watchmen. Who fucking watches the Watcher?
The Watchmen.
Right. But yes. Because, yes, if they're breaking society's rules because they think they're overpowered and because they were what? Because they get some magic powers from the sun that makes you above the law? There's questions you got to ask. Because Batman's rich, how often is he being chased by the guy? Like, there's been many a story in the comic books where somebody goes, no, he is breaking the law. We should probably go after him.
No, absolutely.
And how many murders is Batman responsible for?
So many. That's the White Knight plot line right there, where the Joker finally decides to reform and become a lawyer, and then convicts Batman for being what we all think he is. I'm sorry, I'm not a big superhero fan, but I've read a lot of them.
Personally, I think any superhero that plays in the half measure league is a murderer because he's responsible for so much more damage.
But I want to do yeah, I know. It's superheroes. This is why I avoid the superhero genre in role-playing games, because the moment we get into that, I start falling into the why is there not, a massive government body overreaching? Oh, wait, because that's also horribly evil, too. There's no winning here. It's superhero comics, and I've been checking out for a while.
Have you looked at the boys yet?
Yeah, I have. I have a mixed mentality of that one.
Good. I liked the first season. The second season I did not like. And the third season, I'm not interested in watching.
If I ran an evil campaign, I'd run it like the Suicide Squad. Yes, you're all fucking evil. But you're going to do exactly what I tell you. The organization is telling you you're going to do. And if you don't do it, your head's going to blow off one way or the other.
See, my problem is that I can't. The one campaign universe that I can't, genre of gaming I can't do is superheroes. I don't mind superhero-esque. This is kind of somebody who likes playing fucking Exalted, where everybody is superheroes, but it's not bullshit. It's
I feel your pain, bud. I'm not a big fan of superhero games. Some comics I'll read. If a new movie comes out that's not made by Disney, I'll probably watch it. But Disney does what Disney does, and so Disney doesn't on my dime, and I'm not going to pay for it. I'm not going to stream it. Not going to worry about it. I might watch it at a friend's house if that's what's on their TV, but I really think there's a lot better out there. And the Marvel Universe, after Civil War came out, and then I just realized I watched it a second time after I didn't like that movie so much. I didn't like Iron Man 3. And Civil War seemed to continue the shittiness. I hate the gray color palette that they film and watch those movies in. And they all look like they're filmed in a parking lot. Guardians of the Galaxy, especially part 1, looked like it was actually done with a color coordinator and somebody who knew how to be a director of photography. But that's beyond this conversation. The thing is that I can't stand watching a movie where they're trying to be edgy or good guys. The best movie I've seen in an aspect like that would be The Watchmen, which is still one of the best
Amen.
superhero films made.
Fuck yeah.
And
Well, apparently
and
Conan 2D20 has no alignment. So,
well, just cut and paste from Palladium and use their alignment because it's better anyway.
Not every game needs it, and not every game has it. And as time goes by, eventually none of them will have it that get printed up in, the coming years. For example, Traveler and some other sci-fi games I could rattle off, they don't have it because one, they're either assuming you're the good guys, or two, there's no effect of changing alignment. In the old days with D&D, if you changed your alignment, you could lose a level. There was a game mechanic, but eventually they took that out, and then they just took out alignment for most of the other games that came down the pike.
Well, I really like the game that does punish players for playing out of character. And I want you to be in character when you play. I'm going to go with Shauna on this. I think that's very important. I want you to stay within your millennia, within your operandus modi. I want you to function like you're this individual. Don't just decide I'm going to act lawful good for the next 40 seconds because that means I get to keep my paladin hood. I'm not pointing at you, Shadow, but I've had a lot of players that they're complete dicks at the table, but when it comes to actually table talk in towards the NPCs or the game world, they turn on their paladin hood, and like I can only handle so much when they're talking about like fantasizing about somebody, for like more than like a minute. Like it's normal for a young kid say, "Man, this individual lady's so hot," and they go into like a minute or less rant, not even approaching what Kai would do on like an offhand remark, but they just do that. Okay, that's great. Minute's up. We can go back to the game now. That's one thing, but when they start describing what they want to do to them and they're playing a paladin, it's like, I don't really think that's the character class suited for you. Oh yeah, well I'm gonna spend some time at the orphanage and see which nuns are hot. Yeah,
Wow.
You're definitely a fighter now. You're good fighter material. What's that mean? Oh yeah, no more paladin abilities. Here's your class abilities that you have, and you'll need about 2 weeks to discover them because being really good wasn't your forte. What? You lost your paladin head, dude. Sorry, you got to act the role. And for that specific class, I'm asking you, act like a fucking paladin. And you actually do that, Shadow. You do.
Thank you. Well, it's not easy, and that's why I choose it. A lot of other things are very, very easy for me to play, and I don't because, I want the challenge. And of course, I do want to be, a better person. May not seem like that at times, but I know who I am.
but I got a question, and it's still going with the evil campaign, or at least evil players % or evil acts or whatever, some variation of that, but still staying with the evil. I don't know if Baron or Kai or Mike watches our every other Saturday campaign. I hope they do, and I hope a few of them decide that they have the time to jump in just to play shenanigans and hang out with us. But that's my opinion. But anyways, then we were dealing with 2 prisoners of war. I was opting just to take him out and be done with it. The paladin's like, no, we should find a way to correct their thinking. I decided.
I didn't. I said give them a chance at redemption.
Okay, that's fair.
So that's way different.
Depends on who you ask.
No, the words MK Ultra never came out of my mouth.
I never said that, but like I said, it depends on who you ask. My characters got tired of the whole scenario and plugged them. 1 arrow each. Was my character
Which was a remarkable shot, by the way, without having to roll.
Hey, sometimes the power of DM is with you. So,
hey,
individual things like that. Because in war, you have an option. Either you take prisoners or you don't. We're not talking modern warfare. We're talking fantasy medieval era warfare. So is it more of a sin to capture people, put them into a camp, starve them, hoping that they'll change their mind, or is it more evil just to kill them and move on with your day?
Again, never talked about enslaving or anything like that. I said give them a chance.
I said not enslaving. I did not say enslaving. I said put in the camp, and hopefully someday they change their mind.
Also, wasn't part of my thought process. I had other plans for them, but that's the past.
So out of the two options, per se, which one is more evil? And I'll leave my opinion out of it because I'm being targeted in this one because I'm targeting myself. Kai.
What? Oh, no.
He checked out a while ago.
I'll be honest, yeah, I did for a bit there. But no.
It's okay, Kai.
Look, I was listening and I really what did I just do?
Do you want me to go back and just ask Baron and give you a few minutes?
We haven't heard from Baron all night. What the heck, man?
Yeah, come on.
I see that smile on his face. He's got something. He's got something up his sleeve.
You don't need me to talk. You don't need me to talk about, shoot prisoners at the right time.
All right, Baron, what's your thoughts?
You're muted.
So that's how you fix that fan noise.
That's probably my fan. I thought I had it. It's on one.
Whenever I muted him earlier, the fan noise went away multiple times. You there? You back, Baron?
I don't know. My back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So basically, with we're talking about what again? I was all ready to go, and then I got sidetracked by Mike.
Is it, for the example, and I'm not saying Shadow was Shadow's plan, but when you're in a medieval war, is it more evil to keep prisoners, keeping them in a camp, making them do slave labor? Not saying that they're slaves, but making them do labor, or is it more evil just to knock them off right then and there and just be done with it?
Well, in a medieval society, especially like that, you've got to look at, you have resources, especially if you're doing a kingdom. You've got a finite amount of resources to feed your people. Why are you going to spend those finite resources on prisoners that are not going to have any return, that are not going to get you any resources back by either turning them back in or have them drain your resources to the point, and prisoners can do this. They will drain your resources down to the point of that, well, now we have issues with food. Now we have issues with housing. Granted, there's no Geneva Convention or anything like that, but still, at that point in time in history, and even within, the game systems, the way that they run is it's full resource management. So,
but it was 2 hobgoblins. They're not going to take up that much.
That's 2 more meals that other people could have ate.
Yeah, that's 6 either 4 meals a day if you feed them twice a day, or 3 if you feed them 3 times a day. However, it's running. But anyway, you're still feeding them. And hobgoblins are not known from, I need to, I'm going to repent. No, they're innately evil. This is not 5e. They are not going to be, I see the error of my ways. Let me go pick roses and tulips and be a good person. Fuck that. They are evil. Put them the fuck down. Because given a chance, and even if you're keeping them as prisoner, they are trying to figure out a way to get away. They're going to try to figure out how to kill their guards. They're going to try to figure out not only how to kill the guards, but how to Also, oh look, I am in the Lord's Manor or the Lord's camp here. Ooh, how much chaos can I sow? Come on. If they are innately evil, kill them.
Well, Baron, for clarification, when we approached them, they surrendered, threw down their weapons, and as you know, a paladin cannot slay an unarmed foe.
Okay.
And they surrendered. And hold on. And the way Bruce played them, they were funny. They made us laugh, or at least me. I couldn't just get off my horse and chop off their heads. That's not a paladin. Now, I for the most part I agree with everything, except for the fact that I was playing a paladin. I couldn't be part of it, and I, as a good character, especially a paladin, had to believe in hope, redemption, and the possibility that this was a different situation, that there might be a glimmer of hope, that they might be redeemable.
That's you. Now, the rest of the party had the same thought process I did.
Of course they did. Had I been playing anything else, I would have probably done the deed. But as a paladin, that's a no-go. That's just that.
And that's fine. So technically, I would not call that evil. I would call that protecting yourself. Period. You're protecting innocent people for Connell's, characters. Yeah, they are. He was protecting the camp. Period. I would not call that an evil act. He was protecting the camp. He was protecting security. So, and like I said, this isn't going to be 5e where they're going to repent. They're going to go down by the river and get baptized, and they're going to come back, and they're going to be the best that they can be, and they're going to do nothing but help and be trackers for you and everything. No, cut their fucking heads off, move on. Done.
As the
Not necessarily, not saying the paladin. The paladin played it correctly. I will say that. The rest of the party played their part correctly.
I mean, what I was going to say.
And I would not call it evil. I'm sorry.
No, neither would I. Not even in the slightest. But what if I was right? What if they turned out to be the first two hobgoblins that were willing to change?
Then you should start reading Drizzt's book novels.
I'll never touch one of those with a 10-foot battle line.
Then you can't make that argument.
Well, it's the whole thing of, those giants that Bruce is playing. When you guys were fighting those giants, if one of them had surrendered and decided to,
No, well, it's funny you mentioned that. In one of the games prior to that, we did meet giants, and we did sort of work out an arrangement with them because they didn't want to be enslaved in the war that they were in. And that led me also to believe that, okay, well, here's these giants who are actually contemplating, maybe making peace and maybe even an alliance with the people that they were fighting because they were forced into the war to begin with. So I'm thinking, well, if these giants, who are often considered kind of dumb, are willing to, take a message back to their people that maybe, hey, we could, make an alliance. I don't remember if they were actually evil. I think they actually weren't evil, which was kind of a shock because in old D&D, giants were good or evil, and none of this chaotic neutral or lawful neutral kind of thing. So I'm like, well, hey, the giants are kind of thinking about it. Maybe these are a couple of hobgoblins that might also, maybe never, turn to lawful good, but maybe lawful neutral. Maybe they could be, redeemed in some small way. I had to hope for that chance. That's just the way it is when you're a paladin, at least the way I see it.
And I think, and truthfully, I think we're kind of getting away from the subject a little bit too.
Oh, I think we did that.
Evil campaign. I'd love to. I don't know much more we could really say on the evil campaign because we kind of all beat the shit out of that horse and it's just laying there dead.
Well, stab it. Skeletor, tell us what to do.
All right.
Yes,
Here's
Billy
what
saying
you
that's
do.
rock, and thank you, James, for noticing. I appreciate that.
So, you have an evil campaign, and what you must do as a dungeon master, what you must do is, first off, you must set goals. In order for you to achieve your goals, you need to have the ability to generate income. So, this is where you people that sometimes don't do proper planning need to take some notes. Have a massive skill that no one else does and capitalize on it, and then sell that skill and make it to where the taxpayers are forced to pay for it month in and month out. And afterward, now watch your material pile up in your vault and start to plan away.
What I was actually going to say for evil campaign, the way I would prefer to run a game is if it's going to be evil, I want to run an organized crime game because that way there's already a foundation in place to where the players are expected to work together and they're expected to achieve goals of the organization in the hopes that they will rise into the organization. And I need the players to be able to be cohesive and be thoughtful and mindful of each other's talents whenever they're absolutely executing these. So my dream campaign would be I'm running a Mutant Chronicles game on Mars. You have
Okay, I'm in.
people that have
I'm already in.
USA, Canadian, and Mexican mentalities because it's mainly North American people that made it to Mars. They're the capital people.
Did Mishima also make it?
No, they're over on Mercury.
Oh, right.
So
Right.
you have these people that are already, they've got the same heredity for the most part. Either they're Western Europe or they are Native American blood or Inuit of some sort, but they're on Mars and it's kind of hot there because I always do stress the mesas and the sand and the hay bobs that roll through. So I do that, and then I make the players notified as they're rolling the characters up. You're either taking the prisoner professions or you're taking in some sort of low-level military professions. You'll do 2 cycles of that, and then you'll start at the age of about 24. Because at age 25, you start suffering pollution damage. It's not like D&D where you start suffering constitution damage at age 35. No, the pollutants in the air, we run this shit like India and China. So you have a heavy amount of pollution and fog everywhere. And so, well, at the age of 25, you start suffering con and endurance damage. Sorry, kids. And then all these people are roped into their organization and let out, and they're picked up by a mafia group. The mafia group gives them their basis of what they're doing, and they give them some low-level activities. Grab some money or ferry these items from point to point to point and get to know the world. And the players that join in on this chicanery that are really enjoying it are going to be probably the ones that are be moving up faster than the others. But you have to rely on everybody at the table and expect them to play in kind. Around episode 7 or 8 is when you start promoting them, one of them or 2 of them, into position to where they start really jockeying with like the other alpha at the table. And you want to just kind of play a little bit of diplomacy as a DM and just kind of reward them, give them a little gotcha or a little gimme, like maybe say, you've been doing really well. We found this 10 pounds of ground beef that was just laying there in the warehouse. We want you to have it. And in Mutant Chronicles, all the beef is synthesized. All the beef you eat is synthesized unless you find actual beef that was made from actual cows. And therefore, you give people like this little thing, like it's like giving them a freshly grown apple off the orchard. And they're like, oh my God, I've never had such deliciousness. And you give them that, and you give them it, and you just get them hooked on that taste. And suddenly they have plans for everybody else that's at the table. These guys are tools. I can use them as such. And then you let them enjoy themselves and give them that little taste of power over others. And you're going to have discontent from the underlings at the table. So make sure as a DM that for a few sessions that you cater to them You don't give them power, but you give them the opportunity to do things, and you kind of make it known to the guy that's running the table, the leader of this pack, like, one of the girls that's involved with the dance hall really likes these two guys out of your crew, and she's willing to set you up with one of the ladies that's the DJ's sister at this dance hall if you want to go out. And that way you start like, some stupid little side romances, and the players can enjoy themselves and relax per se, but you don't go into, okay, well, you have fun with her and fade to black, and tomorrow morning you wake up and it's all good. Just roll me a con check. Don't roll under a 5, and you'll be fine. Oh, you rolled under a 5. Oh, you probably just are suffering asthma from this miserable world we live in. I'm sorry, young man. And kind of go with that. And then afterwards, just you run an evil campaign, but it's got to be the tone of a Goodfellas or Casino, because I want to have an organized crime game that starts off very small, very petty, but soon is moving and ferrying logistical amounts that would rival what the Pentagon does with certain fleets. And you'll bump into undead troopers, DM James. You bump into the Dark Legion stuff, but worse yet, you bump into other crews or other mafia types that are trying to knock you off, and they're trying to assert domination over whatever parcel of land you're in charge of. And then worse yet, you have to worry about the cops who you got to put on the take, and then you have your own family or organization, which is like, well, it looks like Baron G-Rock is really doing well with his crew. Let's see if he can handle a hiccup. Go ahead and engineer him for a fall. And they put you to a test and see if you can handle getting knocked on your ass. And so you're fighting this game. It's not a miserable game as a DM. It's a game where you set things up like a good house of cards. And you want to have a game where, as the players get further in the evil campaign, for me, I want their Act 3 of that campaign to actually have them turn over a new leaf and be like, guys, I've done some horrible things. I'm not even going to mention the sexual escapades I did, but I really am tired of this. And I found this little spot about maybe 70 clicks out in the Odysseus Sea. And we can go out to the dunes there, and we can set up shop, and we can be the hell away from this downtown. And I hate the Mannheim. The Mannheim freeway is bullshit. 12 lanes of traffic every day just so I can ferry this little box of items so I can get my ground beef to my family. I mean, I'm sure you guys are tired of it too. We'll keep our guns. We're just going to split from this and try to turn over a new leaf. Let's get in good after about a year, see if we can drop down off of the heat scale and try to make some good connections over there with the local constabulary and not fuck ourselves over. Do you want to try this? And that's when, as a DM, they've bought into the world, because they're still willing to play these characters, but they're tired of the current things that you've put them in this rat race against.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do a bit of farming.
Yeah, and you give them opportunities like that where they can grow and they can learn new skills. And for me, that's the ideal evil campaign, where they've triumphed over other lesser evils, and they saw the error of their ways, and they redeemed themselves. And I know this might not be like everybody's cup of tea. I'm dropping into single digits with my viewer count. I'm sorry, guys, but I want a campaign that's fucking deliciously evil. But at the same time, if the characters survive all those actions and events that they are engineering and the tests that their families put them to, at some point they do deserve a chance to ride off in the sunset and try to disappear. I'm just going to be a bartender at some little dive cantina out in the wastes, and maybe at some point I'll tell my wife, who I met out there, and our kids what happened and why we were always so well protected, and why I always had Tiny with us until Tiny died from his liver failing at age 32, and why old Johnny, he only passed at 41. Why all these things happen, and we were set up really well. I got to explain to my kids, like, listen, I was not always a good man. I was, and I want to have that. To me, that sounds great. And yeah, DM James, like, I say we join the army, guys. Do it for mom, apple pie, and capital. And they'll give you an extra stock in the company. Because that's what capital does. When you're born, you actually get a share of stock in your name. You can choose to cash it out later or not. But it's really a good idea just to keep them. I think that's my ideal of evil. Because an evil campaign should allow you to do all the evil that you want to do, and should allow you to suffer for all the crimes that you've committed. And if you're still able to beat that, if you're still able to be a Teflon Don after all of that, man, this is your horse. His name's Silver. You get to ride it westward. And I think, if that's what you want to do, great. DM James like, no, let's join the Dark Apostles. I have rules for that too. Yeah, that's really not what you guys want to do, but we can play that.
Well, actually,
we're going back. That would actually, I need to trim the gaming group by about a third. And okay, those guys aren't gonna snap on me and be found wandering in steam tunnels, because I really don't want to be responsible for that. But they wouldn't handle that level of depravity, because it does involve some things that you find on Japanese porn streams and shit.
See,
Or the dark web.
I think we have the perfect setting for this anyway. As soon as Kai gets it all fleshed out for us, because he's already started on
Maiden Chronicles.
Well, no. I'm talking about the organization, not the
Strippers Guild
system. Yep.
Yes, we will play in the Strippers Guild next campaign.
And he's fleshing it out. He's got it to the
Wait a
point
minute.
where
Did you just say what I think you said?
He's fleshing it out. He's giving it form.
Okay.
He's
Just
molding
check
it
it.
to his hands.
and it's moist. It's also moist.
They better repay him enough.
See, I mean, I get where you're going with that, Bruce, but that, to me, that's not. I mean, I can see why you would like that as an evil campaign, but there's no redemption story in an evil campaign, the one I would run. At best, you might get neutral, but at the end of the day, it's always one bad decision or one bad day before they go back to their old deeds.
Have you ever watched? I know this is a short-term commitment, but the movie Payback.
Yeah, Mel Gibson. Depends on what version of it, but Mel Gibson is one of them.
Don't watch the director's cut. The theatrical version is much superior. I will say that. The
last line of the movie is the best.
Yeah, and that I like how that movie ends. He's not really still going to beat people up, but she's got to quit hooking.
She's got to quit hooking, and he'd stop beating people up, and that's about as good as they could expect out of each other, because they were going to be together. And I really got to admire that writing. I know that was written by a guy that later on went to jail for crap and shit, but that story is just almost perfect in my opinion. All right.
It kind of reminds me of that show Dickens. It was on a while ago, where it was about all the different Charles Dickens characters in the same story. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No. Sorry.
Or was it I mean, there's several. I don't want to use. TV is such an easy fucking medium to steal from. Well, yeah. But the Blacklist. Red's fucking evil. There's no way around it. Red's fucking evil. No,
I don't know.
You disagree?
I think they're gonna pull. I think they're gonna pull a switcheroo at the end, right, Kai?
I'm sorry. I love the show, but where it's been kind of going in the later seasons, I kind of tuned out around season 5 because it started getting weird. I like the seasons 1 through 4 where my favorite episode. If you think that Red is anything but evil, just remember there's a couple episodes in season 1 where after he was betrayed, where he kidnapped several people, an ambulance driver, a cop, several other people, and a doctor, and then murders them all at the end of a musical montage. and then at the end of the same episode, shoots a woman in her own living room to some amazing music. And she's like, but, and he's like, if you know, bam, other people know too. Blam, 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 blam. Again, while you're hearing some beautiful music being played. And remember, he has people on standby to dispose of the bodies. You can't tell me that if you got a personal body disposal person, that you're a good person.
I got a pig farm. I mean,
now, mind you, she ends up betraying the hell out. Well, technically, she betrayed him. She didn't die. She counter betrays, and then you get to find out that she has an entire basement full of corpses. So it's under an ice rink. Okay, we're talking about some pretty diabolically interesting people here. But if you think anybody of Red's organization is a good person, you weren't watching.
even, not to quote Ramsay Bolton from Game of Thrones, but if you think this story is going to end with a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention.
I know. Sorry, when they started getting into the weird post, they went on the run for a bit, and that's when I stopped watching the show. So,
but an evil campaign, like Payback, yeah, it's a bunch of characters, getting screwed over by another evil group, and they go and get what's theirs and disappears into the shadows. Are they good? Are they the good guys in this? No, they're still the bad guys. They just went up against another group of bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I could run that. I'd run that any day of the week. It's the whole good versus evil bullshit that's so fucking tiring. There's, I want something different.
Why do you think I went into war and started running a war campaign?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because there would be times when, even if I had a paladin in the group, we would have some absolute barbarism at our table. And you guys have really done well. I've thrown a bunch of things at you guys that most other groups would take a lot of advantage of. And I think probably because you didn't is mainly to blame the fact we have a paladin in the group, but at the same time, I think that probably helped keep everybody cohesive, because they're like, we could really go for a bad turn here, Bruce. I mean, it's in the cards. We could be bad guys, but we've got a paladin here, so we're going to be good guys. Okay, cool. I don't have to be a complete dick and be like, oh, I want to turn on this dwarven rape victim. And I'm like, okay, can we fade to black now? And one of the players like, no, I want foursies. Like, oh god.
No, I can tell you exactly what happened that day.
No, and that's one of the reasons why I went with the war campaign. But I also I'm a chicken shit because I don't want to have that level of evil. I can handle Klaus Schwab evil, but I don't really want to have a situation where now I've got a player like old Joe Wisniewski, God bless him. He described what he wanted to do with a female NPC in the goddamn game once, and the table, half the table decided to go out for a smoke break while Joe was talking about this for 3 or 4 minutes. And finally, when he finished, I made the signal, come on, guys, come on back. And Heather's like, nah, I'm kind of done with this. I'm kind of done with this game. And that was the negative that I had from running at a store. I learned firsthand, okay, with this guy here, don't run this type of scenario, and you won't see this level of, oh my God, that's kind of creepy as hell. But that's just my own experience, this, and Max is always like, what type of retards are you running for? Well, we had this one guy, he's passed on now. His liver and pancreas said, fuck it, we're checking out. And so did the rest of them.
I mean, in the game shop, and me for the career choice I've kind of gone for, I got if the table is full of 15 to 18 no evil campaigns, completely understandable. I will not run evil campaigns for kids. That's just, no, I won't do it.
Yeah.
21 and up, if they want to run an evil campaign, as long as you don't go too far down the line, we're fine with. I'm like, how far down the line is it? So I'm like, Hitler. I'm like, okay, I know where to draw the line.
Yeah, but see, that's kind of my point. I mean, the line that everybody keeps talking about, for me, is what defines the evilest of evil. Because even the people who want to run an evil campaign don't want to cross that line. And I applaud you for not wanting to cross that line. But I really think that line is what marks the difference between selfishness and truly the evilest of evil.
But if I run an evil campaign, it will go back to exactly what I said. It would be the Suicide Squad. It would be a version of Payback. It would be bad guys versus bad guys.
Let me rephrase this. Why, if you're going to run an evil campaign, why is there a line in the sand at all?
Well,
that you won't cross.
This. If one of my players had texted me and been like, "Hey, when I can separate myself from this group, I'm going to remember where this orphanage is, and I want to have the headmistress all to myself after I cast Hold Person on her." Like, okay, and nobody will know about this, and that will be your secret and mine. And okay, and I might even 10 months later in game time be like, "Yeah, she was torn and she didn't know what to do, but she was pregnant for a few months there, and now the kid's going to be taken care of at the orphanage she works at." And let that be known and just kind of sit on that at the table. And 5 players stare back at me like, "Oh, well, what the fuck's going on?" And if that 6th player would be there, it'd be like, "You dickhead." Because I would do that as a DM.
But nobody's answering the question. Why not cross the line?
The line in the sand is not a method of, I'm not going to cross that line. My character won't cross that line. No. That's the fade to black moment. Your character crossed the line. Sure. But that's the fade to black. You did the action, and then this is the circumstances of the action, and you just move on.
Yeah, I would, in my evil campaigns, if somebody slips me a note saying I want to do this, I would be doing a variation of what Jade just said and what Bruce just said, where the rest of the party doesn't know, but there will be some kind of consequences in the background that might affect the party.
Oh, keep this up there, Bruce. Why did you have to put in Irish? Huh?
I feel
you could have just said Rupert. You could have just said Rupert.
Plumbers do the same thing. Come on now.
I'm just fucking with them.
I feel attacked.
So does guys with septic tanks. They rip off little old ladies all day long.
No ring stops. Never mind.
Gross.
As Bruce is sitting there going, "Shut the hell up."
No, I'm good. I like to say "knee" to old ladies.
Evil campaigns, they are. I even in the game shop, I can tell you how many times I've been asked to run an evil campaign from here in Missouri, and it's been once. Most people do want to play the type of games that you're talking about, Shadow. My friends I meet through Daggy here, or the sport I'm in, who talk about D&D. 99% of them say we're taking on an evil lich, we're taking on an evil dragon, some variation of that, right? I mean, maybe one out of X amount of people say, "Hey, we're doing an evil campaign," but it's more of a Ocean's 11 dragon heist type evil campaign. It's not the evil, it's not the type of evil you're talking about. It's just they're tired of playing by the rules of society. They want to do something else. They want to break bad.
Maybe it's because I've seen so much of the evil that I'm talking about in real life that I'm asking these questions because I don't want to see it again, and I don't want to be anywhere near it or any part of it. I'm grateful that you guys, kind of don't get where I'm coming from, because that means, you've never seen some of the shit that I've seen. But I just hope for better from this hobby and everybody in it. Not putting anybody down who wants to play an evil game, because like I said, I ran a 25-year long campaign that's still kind of evil. And for the most part, they don't do the kind of stuff that I'm alluding to. Thank God. I would probably have a lot fewer friends than I do, and it's good to hear that you guys do have these opinions of evil campaigns, as opposed to what I guess worry about, because some of you had a little bit of experience with some people maybe taking it a little too far, but thankfully that's as far as you've had to tolerate. And that content. Baron, you've got to get a screenshot of that. That just freaking look at that guy.
No, that needs to be.
The dog's cute too, Baron.
That needs to be put on a shirt.
Look at those two. Oh my God.
There's actually a few pictures I've seen put on Facebook of Jade and his dogs that belong on a shirt too.
True. Those are your friends, aren't they?
Especially with Hazel.
James, you know what I think evil is. You know.
I have two definitions of evil, DM James. I use either the Klaus Schwab version of evil, where we pervert cultures, or I use the I'm a Beelix and Skeletor voice, and I'm a Smash He-Man once and for all.
There was a
Anybody
picture.
else that tries to stop me?
I think there was a cartoon picture. I think I sent it to you, Shadow. I don't know exactly who I showed it to. But it's a picture of Conan on a throne with Evil Lyn over his lap, or it might be the He-Man's girlfriend. And all Skeletor, all the bad guys' heads are stuck on pikes behind him. He-Man is a half measure. If it wasn't you, I'll send it to you because I still have the picture. But yeah, Tia was sitting over his lap, and all the villains in Master of the Universe's heads were on pikes behind him. And I'm like, this is the best picture ever. No more half-measure bullshit.
You know what I think's evil in any game?
Pineapple pizza?
Paladins.
Pushing their will and their religion on
Exactly.
everybody else.
Whoa!
All of a sudden,
okay.
they're like the latter day, the whatever it is that come knocking on the door, and everything.
Oh, those guys are
else.
wonderful.
Yeah, you know how you know I can tell you right now. If y'all want to know how to get on the do not talk to list, I got you. You bring them in. You let them do their little spiel until they say, and they all say this one line, and this will get you on the do not talk to list. Is when they say, well, the devil can take many forms. And then you turn and look at him and go, did he send you here? That will get you on the do not talk to list. You never have to worry about them ever again.
Baron, any paladins you've ever run into that act like that are not leading by example. That's how a paladin does his converting, is by leading by example, not by proselytizing with threats and guilt trips and things like that. Maybe a little bit of a guilt trip, but what you're kind of describing to me, that's not how I would ever run a paladin. I would do my thing, maybe say a few things here and there, but I definitely would not be doing anything other than trying to lead by example.
I'm just going through the chat here.
No, it's fine.
Paladins
Yeah, I
don't
noticed that.
talk
There's
to
no
you.
paladins in Conan 2D20. But no, like I said earlier, I had to kick that guy out of the game because every time somebody stepped out a line, that stepped a toe out of a line that he thought was acceptable, he'd have him fucking blow out with them.
Clearly, they don't know what a paladin is.
I mean, we have a rogue in the party who wants to go out and, get some side hustle. Not robbing, but, a little play. And rah, 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 rah. Are you married? No. Then rah, 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 rah.
Well, we're hitting a 2-hour mark in about 5 minutes, and
Yep.
wanting to keep this short. Table Breakers, do we want to do a third session for evil campaigns, or have you guys milked this?
Oh no! I'm fucking out after this, so fuck this.
Okay. Well, with that being the case, we will return a week from now, and same bat channel, same bat time. Baron G Rock, what do you have planned to hit the interwebs until this sundry hour?
Well, I have gone back to Twitch, and that's where I'm going to be doing my gaming. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of that over on the Twitch side. It's twitch.tv/Baron G Rock, all one word. So make sure you go check me out over there. And hopefully I'll maybe get a video or two up this week. Depends on how things are going. I've been doing some studying for additional licenses that I must acquire, so it is cutting into some time a little bit, but definitely go check that out. Give me a follow. Follows are free over there on the Twitch land. So yeah.
You want to put your link in the chat there?
Yeah,
please. Yeah, please do that. I already got everybody else's links in there. I think you might have done that for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I noticed that. I'm like, yes, he already got there. Awesome. Because I got into town late tonight.
Yeah, I went back and did your last like 5 or 6 of them too.
Sweet. You have access to everything on my channel, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
How not to act at a lot. Wait, DM Crafty, y'all should do a show how not to act at cons, because apparently a lot of people don't get that memo at Gen Con. That was so.
Yeah, that's called not being a jackass.
What
Max,
the fuck
I
happened? I don't know.
discuss on Friday night chill stream, not on Sunday when we're trying to figure out rules and have special guests like Kevin Simbata. What happened? Asked Calvinani. Well, Cal, there was a person that crossed lines, and they were not like these weren't like things that you couldn't see coming. These are lines that like you expect in public to not be crossed.
Wait, something happened at Gen Con?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to look into it. I've been paying attention to other things.
Yeah.
There's other things that are more important. The person that did it at Gen Con's a piece of shit.
Well, there's a lot of those.
Well,
Yeah, I didn't hear about it.
Gen Con has been on the downhill slide for the last 10 years. I hate to say that.
Well, this year was the exception because they had people with 3 years worth of tickets banked, and they ran out of hotel rooms like within the first block of people.
Yeah, all hotels were booked within the first 2 hours of the hotel stays going live.
I have a friend. I recently just found out. This has been a friend I've had for years. I recently found out he maybe lives maybe within the 3 blocks of where they hold Gen Con. It's like, if you ever want to go to Gen Con, you can come crash with me. I'm like, that's awesome. That takes one problem out of the couple $1,000 issue.
I would rather go to VentureCon myself. That's just me.
Man, I've had friends been talking up Dragon Con in Georgia.
I went to that in '93. It was good back then. I just don't like big cons now because they have big stupid ideas like mask up everybody. Oh, fuck you. I'm going to face fuck the air.
I guess they weren't really a lot of people wearing them.
So this Friday, Chillstream Max will be hosting Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard.
That should be an interesting watch. I don't know. I mean, there are cons out there I want to go to. There's a couple in Vegas I would love to go to, and no, not all of them are naughty. One of them is a cigar con.
All right.
I want to go.
Jade, I want to ask Jade real quick. Jade, you've been putting some stuff on your stream on your channel there. I listened to a half-hour stream of you and your friends playing a horror game. Want to tell us what you got cooking?
Yeah, so the Beneath the Door is a one-shot cosmic horror game for Index Card RPG. When you purchase the Master Edition, they send you a PDF of one-shot adventures or plug-in adventures for your current games. It was recorded over the course of about 4 hours, and I'm going to break it up into half-hour sessions and upload those to YouTube, now that I actually have an editing software that works. So I am working on that, so expect part 2 is going to be this week. I'm hoping I can record another one-shot with that group, maybe this coming Sunday. But I'm also working on one-shot material for Tablebreakers. Being as we might have limited time, or some of us might have more limited time than others, the Tablebreakers one-shot, which will be airing not on Tablebreaker nights, but some day other than Thursdays. It will not be a live broadcast. It'll be all pre-recorded, so no chat, coming up and answering chat questions. But the one shot might have to become a double tap because it might have to be recorded over the course of 2 sessions. So be looking for that. What I'm really speaking about is each of us game masters talk a big game. We talk about all these things we do within our games. Now it's time to put it to practical application. Are we as good as we say? Can we handle the things that we say in our favorite gaming systems? Whatever they might be. So that being said, I think I'm going to be running the first one, hopefully this month, if as time allows. And it's going to be set with Index Card RPG. And I've already chosen which one of the one-shots I'm going to be running. And I'm getting it all prepared for, the 5 of you. We can talk about that stuff after stream ends or, on another day. But I'm really, really looking forward to recording that soon.
Looking forward to being part of it.
Sounds fun.
Chimerian, I know you're busy a lot, but are you working on anything, or do you have time to work on anything right now?
No, school year started back up. I have absolutely no time.
Actually, going back to Kai really quick, Bruce, I would love to hear some of the stories, not even if he has a chance to record them, but every so often hear some of the stories of what his players and his campaigns shenanigans they get up to.
Interesting. Connell, I know you'll be with me next Saturday. Who are you talking to about vets and RPGs this weekend?
I still don't know. A couple things have came up. I'll know if I'll have time enough to do it tomorrow, or I might have to skip a week just because life is kicking me in the nards right now in some areas.
It's all right. That happens.
But Sunday, me and Shadow will be talking about the 1980. I don't remember what year it came out off the top of my head. The 1980s Labyrinth, the movie with David Bowie, Jennifer Carbondale. Oh man, I am off.
Connolly, really,
Connolly,
dude.
yeah,
Dude. How can you not? Come on.
You're right. And the wonderful
goddess material that like Farrah Fawcett and the late great Olivia Newton-John were at. I mean, like that movie cemented her in like the fanboy like goddesshood. Okay,
right.
And then boy of the year or whatever.
I know you're doing the movies Monday where you're sticking in the 90s. I kind of like the Jim Hensons of the 80s, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, and there's a few other ones that are really fun. Not to mention the Ninja Turtle movies that came out in the 90s. So that's kind of where my head's at right now.
Well, I mean, we'd go all over for our movies. Hell, I did a movie from 2012 called The Raid, which all of you, it's required watching. And you know, I mean, it just we've done movies from the 60s, movies from 2010s, and we don't really stop. We're eventually going to discuss Maverick Part 2, the Top Gun film. But right now, I'm having a blast with 1994.
But yeah, that's what we're up to.
Legion of Myth. What was Legion of Myth says? I hear Jennifer Connelly. What's this about? Labyrinth. What day and time again, Connell?
For everybody who does not live in a state that does not celebrate the concept of setting your clock forwards or back, it will be at 4 o'clock. For those who live on the West Coast, it will be at 2 o'clock. Or as Shadow likes to put it, avocado time. And this will be on Sunday. Yet Never Ending Stories would be another fun one to do down the road.
If you focused on fantasy films, I don't suggest this, but if you focused on fantasy films, you have a lot of material to go through, and you're going to find out that Ray Harryhausen is one of the greatest set of hands ever to work behind the scenes in a movie.
Yeah, we just reviewed all of his movies just a couple of months ago, and they're classics. Must see if you're a fantasy fan.
Yeah, I mean, me and Shadow will have to talk about what we do, but with him running a family-friendly show, I like to do family-friendly movies for the most part. So it's something I know Jack will be able to watch, and there's not going to be any hang-ups.
I mean, Jack's 13, so I expect him to
14.
occasionally see boob.
14.
14. He's getting to that age where him seeing like the beginning of the Clash of the Titans, the old guard version, Perseus' birth and breastfeeding. That was not done by a woman who should be like an amumu. That was done by a age-appropriate, really hot MILF in the 1980s. And
he was very uncomfortable during that scene. He doesn't do so well with stuff like that. Not yet.
He will change. He will change at some point, because I used to be. I didn't want to watch a movie with a nude woman in front of my mom and dad.
Yeah, he's actually contemplating being a Catholic priest, so maybe not.
Go Lutheran. You can get married and have sex and babies. Oh wait,
I told him that too, and he's like, "That's not where his heart is. I'm not gonna."
Fair enough.
Not gonna interfere.
Fair enough. Not bad work on a hill giant. This is a new Reaper Black Bones hill giant that I opened up the other day. I had to go to the Dragon's Lair store, and I'm not really impressed with Dragon's Lair on Fredericksburg and San Antonio. They corporate-fy that store, and they've sucked all the joy out of it. And like all the other stores around, they're putting together a really large WizKids section, but Reaper doesn't have the same love it used to have. But I still found this baby, and I'm like, oh, I need another hill giant. So,
no, you don't. Considering I'm in the campaign that you use them against us, no, you don't.
I'm happy to see everybody's showing some love for Blue Oyster Cult in the chat, because there's more than just 3 songs that Blue Oyster Cult did. When I worked at 100.5 and later at 92.7, I really got tired of those same 3 songs that the fucking radio.
Amen, brother. Amen.
There's whole albums that are.
That's me, by the way, in the chat, in case you didn't know that.
So anyway, I will be involved in chat, maybe the panel tomorrow night over at Friday Night Chill Stream. This coming Saturday.
You skipped me, man.
I'm sorry, Shadow and Sun. The reason why I'm skipping you is because you and Connell do a same stream together on Sundays, and I'm giving people a break. Then I'm going to go back to you real quick. I will be doing. I'll be uploading a video here, me reading the final part to Shift Elijah's story, and that'll be the big project for me on video here this weekend. Shadow, help us close out the stream first. Tell us what your big plans are for the next week on the videos, if you could.
We've got just about a video, if not 2 videos, every night for up until Sunday. Sunday we got 2. Saturday we'll be doing a chill stream with some good friends. You guys are all, of course, invited. Friday, we'll be hanging out with Max, but I'll be doing a video on Arduin. Tonight, my son and I are doing a video showing off some of the miniatures we recently got. Hopefully, people will dig them, and next time they're looking for miniatures, go to the source or go to their web store. We've they're the company that got us our start way back in the beginning, and they've been really, really good to us. So this whole month, we're doing a tribute to Archon Studios and the Dungeons and Lasers Kickstarter, the Masters of the Universe game, the Doom game, the Ravenloft game, not Ravenloft. What the hell was that video game? Well, they've done a ton of stuff. They're great miniature people, and they get you your stuff faster than their Kickstarters project. So I'm going to have a crap ton of videos coming out over the next 5 days, and then starting all over again on Monday.
Okay. I'm trying to think of the damn game you're thinking of. Not Doom, right?
No, what's the other one? Castle something, Richtenstein or something?
Castle Wolfenstein.
There you go. Yeah, I think they did that game too.
Okay.
And a bunch of other games and miniatures, and they're in Poland, and they, instead of going through China, they will get you your stuff. If they start a Kickstarter, you'll get it within 11 months. Instead of like the Kickstarters I'm waiting on, some of them are going on 4 years, and I still nothing.
I just stopped supporting Kickstarter. If I like the company, I'll tell the company, I'll throw this money at you directly, but I'm not going through Kickstarter. And if people ask me,
they're now going through GameFound, I think. Yeah.
I just don't like companies that support BLM. I don't like to build large mansions. I buy large mansions is a bullshit company, bullshit organization, and I profess violence. So anyway, that's it. That's all there is to it. So, with that being said, my name is Bruce. This is Tablebreakers. This is episode 41. Not everybody shares my opinions, and that's great. We all are here to be different, but I hope that we were able to help you guys with something that you had a question about for evil campaigns. And if you don't have the answer you're looking for, put it in the comment section. I do expect to have a brawl in the comment section because it's a comment section, but I hope that everybody had a great night. We are looking forward to seeing you next week with a new topic, and hopefully a big deep dive worth about 4 or 7 different nights of discussion, because we try to keep this around 2 to 3 hours. Again, thank you from Baron G-Rock, Jade, Chimerian, Connell the Cigar DM, Shadow and Sun, and myself, Bruce. Everybody be well. Thank you so much.